Okay, yeah, we got the ob spot going, and the ob spot can oscillate back and forth. If I move from one side to the other, that's very convenient. If I'm going to be moving around, and on the Moves News, I often do move around. Yeah, and usually in the Gary Moves channel, there's lots of motion going on, but yeah, we want to find a balance, and we want to use our brains as well, of course. And I was over with our company, Ryoko and Kaz and I went over to a tennis club this week for 2 days, 9 till 6 each day, 9 hours with a break. And we worked with the tennis players on basic posture and biomechanics. Now, as a figure skater, like, why would Ryota sensei invite me over to her tennis camp? You know, I mean, she's a very good tennis player, and also, by the way, has a YouTube channel like I do. And it's a very popular channel as well on tennis. Yeah, she's quite an accomplished tennis player and coach, and so why would she invite Ryoko and I and Kaz over to her tennis club? Well, to try to improve the basic biomechanics of the tennis players. And so this is a learning experience for me as well. I bring a lot to the table because I have a background in sports for my whole life, and I actually have also played a lot of tennis. You know, I don't need to be a tennis coach to be able to come in and even be able to say some facts about tennis. Like, for example, a basic fact about tennis is that you're changing direction a lot when you play tennis, especially as you get into higher and higher levels of tennis. You're going this way, and then you're going this way, and then you have to, you're moving around, you're changing direction in tennis. I don't need to be a tennis pro to be able to see that much. And now I can think about the biomechanics that it takes to change direction, because it's the same as walking, running, skating, you know, skiing, climbing mountains, climbing cliffs. And so how are you going to apply this to tennis? So, you know, and the topic matter was the power position, right? The power position. And sometimes I refer to this as an athletic position, where I'm bending into the joints of my legs, hips, knees, and ankles. And there's some advantages to this position. I can move very quickly because in order to accelerate in that direction, let's say I want to go in that direction, I'm almost always going to push to go there. I'm going to exert in tennis, I don't know if there's any pull in tennis. And it's kind of the same in figure skating as well. We propel ourselves, our form of locomotion is pushing. And the way that we push is we straighten. So if we start with a bend with that athletic position, which is the power position, we can exert a force by straightening, and that gets us moving in that direction. And so, and if we want to be, you know, very competitive, if we want to compete well and be competent on the court, maybe we want to change direction quite efficiently and quite suddenly. and not waste some energy while we do it. So often, so that's one aspect of changing direction, is accelerating in a particular direction. And the other thing is how to brake, because first you have to brake often. You're moving in a particular direction, and you have to put on the brakes, and then decide what the next direction is and propel yourself in that direction. And putting on the brakes is a bending process. So we reach out, we get contact with the floor, and then we bend into this joint, resisting all the while, so that we go from speed to stop. And then when we straighten again, it propels us in the other direction. And that's sort of regardless of the other things that you're doing, and when you're playing tennis, that's an aspect of tennis. And not everybody believes in staying down in this position. There are some advantages to staying down in a low position when you're playing tennis. It's a power position, but there's also a few advantages to coming up out of that position. And so some tennis players do rise up quite high as they hit the ball. And well, a few things. Again, I'm not a tennis coach, but there's some things like there's a few things that I can say that probably nobody's going to argue with. And you want to select your priorities in sport. And so by rising up as you hit the ball, any upward action, whether it's with the body or the arm, puts topspin on the ball. So that's one advantage of having a stroke where you rise up. From that high position, you're not going to be able to change your direction. That's not a power position. There's two ways to change, to get moving in one direction, and I've already showed you one of those ways, which is to straighten. The other way is to fall. So if I'm in a high position, I can still get moving without straightening. I can topple in that direction, and that gets me moving in this direction. So from a high position, you can start toppling in the direction that you want to move in to initiate your acceleration to go to the next place where you want to make your shot. And there could even be psychological reasons for wanting to come up high as you hit a shot. You look grander and bigger and maybe more menacing if you come up really high as you make your shot. That's probably a minor thing, but the other thing is that another advantage I can think of to coming out of the athletic position might be to take a rest, because when we're staying down in this low position, it requires more energy. We don't want to waste our energy, but that doesn't mean we're going to be lazy either. If we want to move around the tennis court quickly, we're going to want to, understand the athletic position. Not only for getting to where we want to make our next shot, but in the actual mechanics of the shot itself, there's also going to be an advantage to having that good athletic position and not standing like a pedestrian. So the athletic position is the same, even if we are a pedestrian. Actually, if you want to be a good pedestrian, and if you're concerned about your posture and your gait and your longevity too, incidentally, you will adopt an athletic position, most of the time when you're standing or walking, but it's not as bent. So I'm still in that basic athletic position even when I'm standing, right? So I'm not going to stand in some slouchy position where gravity's kind of taking over. or I have bad alignment. Many people have their hips tilted forward in their posture, and that creates compensating bad posture, you know. So an understanding of this power position is useful for everybody. And I only use those absolutes when I need to, but almost everybody, you know, we walk, we all walk. And we all have occasions in our life when we walk every day, right? Almost. I can't speak for everybody because some people are, you know, in a hospital lying down, some people are in a wheelchair and this and that, the other thing. And, you know, there's times when maybe you spend a lot of time sitting in your office if you have an office job. But there are some times when you can walk and when you can climb and when you can go up and down stairs or escalators. And so you can practice good posture and walking style frequently. And so you can get good at walking, right? And especially if you're walking, like it's more difficult, like in this little space, to establish good walking, ideal walking posture and gait, because it's a short space. But if you're walking a long distance, you can really get into a rhythm, and you can analyze, you know, the feelings that you have and your walking style and the many aspects of it, and improve your walking, which is what I do pretty well all the time when I'm walking, actually. I'm reminding myself as I walk of what good gait is, particularly since I'm making changes, right? And I think I always be making changes because I learn new things about walking. Like, you know, I mentioned before that I'm trying to use the front of my foot more. So I'm trying to be able to sustain my weight in this position right before I lift my foot up, you know, right before I lift it up. I'm trying to be able to sustain and grow strength in my foot so that this is not lazy, the front of my foot and my toes even. I think we want all 5 toes to touch the ground at least. We don't want to clench or push into the ground with our toes, maybe except in some kind of an emergency. But I do think we want to have a certain amount of weight on all of our toes when we're standing. And certainly when we're walking, when we come through this position where we have that metatarsal bend, we want to have the weight spread out evenly across the toes. We want to be able to bend like that. And we don't want to have some pain when we bend this baby toe in such a way that so that we avoid that pain and come without even, like, inadvertently move in such a way that we're avoiding pain. If we're avoiding pain under the big toe, maybe we got some kind of severe bunion or is there some pain in the big toe, there's a chance that maybe we're going to come off the little toe as we walk along. And so we do want to identify all those places on the foot and do our body maintenance on the feet, rolling and massage, but then we also want to practice good posture. And this is one way you can do this. If you want to, you know, make an exercise out of it, but you can practice this position lying down on a mattress, on a floor, without a pillow, right? So, and this is a little bit difficult, right? And since this is a little bit difficult to sustain this position, I know that my posture, I have some tightness in a few of these areas here. A more relaxed position might be something like this. So I think about it, yeah, I can get up into that position, but it does require some thinking about it. And yeah, we can get this head forward position. Many of us have this problem of head forward, and it's not only elderly people, even often very often I see young people with, these kind of bad posture habits, which doesn't bode so well for their future. Good posture and biomechanics is fundamental. Yeah, and so another fundamental is the ability to twist the spine, and I've showed you this before. And what does a figure skater know about twisting their spine? Lots, because we have to be able to do this to do good counters and rockers and brackets. But this is, of course, also part of a tennis swing. The ability to twist the spine can also be part of the tennis swing, right? And most people I find, like I did some exercises with the tennis players at this camp, and they're pretty good tennis players actually. They can keep the ball moving and they can hit it pretty hard, and I was quite impressed with the level. And it's adults, and not young adults either. They're pretty good tennis players. Most of them have trouble with this exercise actually. I practice this exercise a lot, so I've become quite mobile in my spine, but many of you are not so mobile. You're quite stiff in your spine. And this here is not moving the spine, right? This is just moving shoulders. And this is also not moving the spine very much, right? This is moving hips, and the spine moves just because it's above the hips. This, keeping the hips in one place, and moving the spine. Maintaining that athletic position to do this, and maintaining strength in this important part of your body. And somebody asked me at the tennis camp, Ishinabe-san asked me, well, do you keep your abdominal muscles tight and strong and all the time, or like how often? Like what's the deal? And I'm like, interesting question, because I don't have an answer on the tip of my tongue. I mean, when I'm I'm going to relax a little bit more when I'm at home and there's nobody around. Maybe I won't. But if I'm in front of a camera like this, or if I'm out skating, or just for the appearance alone, I usually try to keep these muscles engaged, and I try to remind myself of good posture all the time when I'm out in public. And I don't want to like force it too much, but yeah, but definitely when I'm skating, like all the time when I'm skating, that's second nature. I don't need too many reminders to keep that part of the body tight and strong when I'm doing athletics or running even. So for strength, because when we engage those muscles, it gives us strength in that important part of our body, the core of the body. It also allows, I find, more mobility. I can twist better when I suck it up, use those belly muscles and keep it flat and tight. For figure skaters, also that tight position where you use these muscles and you keep it flat. If you have more of the mass of your body closer to your axis of rotation, you spin more easily. So that it doesn't help you jump higher, because you still got the weight. Just when you use your muscles, you're just pulling it in. But because you're now effectively skinnier, you rotate more easily. So, but yeah, this is something that could be a part of a tennis swing as well. But the answer to that question, and it depends on how much you use this athletic position, how deep you get. I mean, we often see really good tennis players sliding in split positions, across the court, try to slow themselves. This is, but if you don't have the stamina for that, if you can't put out the energy to sustain that position, it's not going to work as well. So you have to, build up the muscles to be able to put out that power, the power that it takes to stay in that power position. And also, this is some power. To keep these muscles engaged, it requires some power. And it's not power in the sense of, really strong exertion type of power. It's power in the sense of consuming energy. It's just a little bit of energy to keep those muscles engaged there. But it's sustained, and so it does require energy. It drains your energy just a little bit. It's money well spent, in my opinion, for sports, and this is something that's very commonly agreed upon. But what's the skate sharpener doing here? Yes, I've got a little tribute to Sid right here, the incredible edger. Best skate sharpening machine in the world. Really a beauty. I'm going to sharpen my skates because I'm going to go up to Karuizawa tomorrow and take some on-ice videos for you. And I got some ideas for that, and I'll do some Gary Moves videos up there, and also some shorts. And I like to skate well, especially if I'm doing a short. If I'm teaching something in an ordinary video, I'm not really so much trying to impress you as I am trying to teach you something. But if I do like a short of some kind, I really want to be competent and good and show some kind of like creativity or extreme or high skill level or something like that. So I'm going to sharpen. I haven't sharpened my skates for a while, so I've dragged the machine out. And I think probably after I turn off the camera, I'll put a nice edge on those so that I can get nice deep edges without worrying about slipping. And I can skate nice and smoothly without working as hard to keep my speed. And by the way, thank you, Dave, at West Side Skate and Stick in New York for these soakers. These are excellent soakers. These aren't just any soakers. These are really, really nice soakers. I don't like soakers that I'm kind of a minimalist a little bit, so I wouldn't like those fuzzy, big, huge fuzzy soakers that have tiger heads or whatever and tails and all kinds of protrusions and attachments on them. These are don't take up much space, but they're very, very functional. They're very soft on the inside, and they're reinforced on the outside so that they don't sprout holes on them. So really nice ones. I've had them for a while. They're looking a little bit used, but they're still perfectly functional. And I never walk around in these, right? You don't walk around in these. These are just to protect your blades and to protect your skate bag from the sharpness there. If you put pressure on your heel and walk around, put like all your weight right on that little heel there, it's gonna sprout a hole. And so, yeah, it's few little thoughts about soakers. And yes, of course, I have my figure skating insoles in here. Skate insoles in here. Tokyo insole. Yeah, so I enjoyed going over there to the tennis club today, and I shared a few of the ideas with you just now. And I think I have nothing else really to say except was just playing around with that. It's kind of cool. If you hold these just at the right point, balance point, you can choose, like if you hold it more towards the end, then it'll bounce if I hit it a little harder. But in an apartment, I probably shouldn't overdo that. Anyways, the moves news is over. Use what I choose to share with you as my moves and views, and strive for competence.